you doing? There we go. So we're gonna finish off the first parable today. I didn't get to do anything this week. I got an even longer week this week coming up, but I think I'm just gonna try to fit some things in. Uh, my schedule last week was just kind of crazy, so I didn't want to do little 10, 20-minute live streams. I had to maintain getting my energy to get to this week. So now I think because I have a little energy, I'll be able to use a little bit of it. Got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, y'all know that. So, quick recap. We did a review of the very first part. Uh, and uh, and pretty much it goes into. I mean, the Book of Enoch kind of just starts right off. Speaking on the righteous and the elect. He declares himself. You know what I mean? To be speaking on things that are to be coming, as well as events that are taking place at the time that he's speaking on them. See, this is why it's very difficult to say where in which Enoch did most of these things, because if you read the book, you'll understand that there are things he's speaking to people who are within the bloodline of Adam. Like he's speaking these words to them. You see what I'm saying? And what you come to understand is like, okay, well, how much time has passed that he's come to understand what he understands now, what he didn't understand before. And when we acknowledge that he's no longer a man and he's in a celestial body, it becomes even ever more present that the things he's speaking on, that some of them are a vision of prophecy, is about a particular place and time. But when you have a vision, technically, because it hasn't happened yet, it's outside of what we call space and time. It's outside of it. It hasn't taken place. So, as far as you're concerned, it'll happen when it happens, but you don't know when. So, when he's speaking, we have to realize that he's speaking from a point of view of he's not a man having vision. He's a man who's been translated into an angelic body, okay, who's giving these, he's getting a full on, he's getting a full hit of the energy. So what he's experiencing is totally different. And we have to understand that sometimes while he's speaking to us, there's a level of excitement, just like a real person has, like trying to tell you everything. So you have to appreciate his excitement and being willing to share everything with us, because he understood and knew that his time was limited to do as such. Um, we're going to pick up at about chapter 20-ish. No, maybe even beyond that. We're going to pick up at about chapter 22. And this is where Brother Power and Name, actually, he emailed me about this spot. And this is something I've been waiting to get to. There's only 16 more or 15 more chapters in the first parable. I lie, only 14 more, and there's only 6 more pages. So just bear with me. We're going to read it, then we're going to go back and dissect it very carefully. But this first part we're going to read very carefully because I want you to understand what's taking place here. This is tantamount to purgatory, whatever they call that place, right? what I'm about to read to you, at least one of the compartments, and we'll keep it going. Chapter 22. And remember right now, he's been traveling with Uriel, the angel of uh, of the luminaries. He's the head of the luminaries. So he's been traveling with Uriel, and right now, I think all the angels are with him, but Uriel was speaking, and here we go now. He says, and thence I went to another place, and the mountain of hard rock, and there was in it four hollow places. Now stop right there. In the book, when you read it, it doesn't say "and the mountain." It says "and he mountain and of hard rock." Now, if I were to say a he mountain, I don't know how people would take that. So I'm putting my own literary sense on it and saying the mountain and of hard rock. And the "and" is in brackets, so I skipped it the first time just to read right through. Because the everything in brackets and parentheses is for a person who's reading to give them a background or context to what's being said, but that's not always important. Here we go again, chapter 22. And thence I went to another place, in the mountain of hard rock, and there was in it four hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at? Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits, listen, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein. Not the souls, but the spirits of them. Come on, because they're not the same. Yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. Now stop right there. It just told you it's the spirit of the soul. So when he speaks to it being the souls of the children of men, now he's speaking to, let me break it down, okay? This is deep. The first man that I've contended does not have normal soul constitution at all. And that Adam man does. Adam man has a natural soul constitution that will be held into this compartment. The other thing does not. Therefore, the spirit that was given to it through the soul constitution of the angel, can you dig it? The soul does not go there, but the spirit that was given to it through them, because it has to give them something, right? It has to give them some sort of genetic property, and that genetic property was spirit constitution, not soul constitution. That's why they became giants and freaks of nature. However, we keep pushing. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, and till their appointed period, till the great judgment, till the great judgment upon them. I saw a dead man making suit. And understand, I'm skipping past things in parentheses because I'll come back to it later. I saw a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit. And I asked Raphael, the angel, who was with me, and I said unto him, this spirit which maketh suit, who is it, whose voice goes forth and maketh suit to heaven? Stop right here. Stop right here. I'm about to break something down to you. What's about to happen is I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll explain it. Because I've already read this, and I had to make it all make sense to myself. And I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, the spirit which maketh suit, who is it whose voice goes forth and maketh suit to heaven? And he answered me, saying, this is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes suit against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from among the seed of men. Stop right there. Now, as opposed to telling Enoch that this is a soul, not a spirit, right on. Even if I were to say that it is a spirit, but let's just imagine for a moment. They're giving bro a crash course. He's just now being translated. Right. There's no need to correct him sharply because his understanding of a spirit and a soul, the two are so synonymous and so closely related that to split the hairs with this man right now, it doesn't even matter. What's more important is to tell him that this is the spirit, and I know it's the soul of Abel, whom Cain slew. Right. And Abel's suit is what? Is that his brother's seed is wiped off from the face of the earth. Now stop right there. As you read in this book, that's the end of that. It doesn't get mentioned again. Doesn't get. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read about that in full detail anywhere yet. Again, there's no telling if Abel is still making suit. If you guys understand what I mean. So let me go ahead and keep talking. Keep reading. Then I asked regarding it and regarding all the hollow places. Why is one separated from the other? Very important right here. And he answered me and said unto me, these three have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated. And such a division has been made, and such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water. And such has been made for the sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Here their spirits shall be set apart in this great pain till the great day of judgment, and punishment and torment of those who curse forever, and retribution for their spirits. Stop right there. Did you hear that right there? There's 4 compartments. Okay. There's 4. See, now it speaks to 3 of them. Now, unless we're assuming, listen, I'm gonna read it to you one more time, and I'm gonna explain to you what I'm trying to get at. Unless the 4th is presumptuously the one for the people who are righteous, and the other 3 for the sinners and the people in between. I don't know what the hell to call it, but let's just read this again, and let's just try to get a clear understanding, because the understanding that I have that was made clear to me when I read it was that the one compartment is for the righteous, the other 3 are for these other people. And when you read the different things about them or what's being said, it speaks to what's going on. And I'll read it and then I'll elaborate. These 3, and he answered and said unto me, these 3 have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated. Stop right there. So it says these 3, not 4. That's being specific. Right. Have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated. So the other one is not to separate the spirits. Hold on. That's huge. But we're going to separate them in these 3 right here, that they're all going to be different. And what's going down right now? He says that such a division has been made for the righteous of this, for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is a bright spring of water. Stop right there. Once again, you talk about spirit and you talk about souls. They're not the same. It can't be. It can't be the same. They're not the same. One governs a whole nother function in the body. One is over it, one is in it. I can't stress it enough. But I'm going to keep it pushing. But with that said, the righteous have a bright spring of water in their little hollow division, in their smooth spot. Hold on. And such has been made for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. Stop right there. Boom. So this in one of the other compartments, and the other part is going to follow up with it. And this other compartment is made for people who live their whole life full, evil and wicked, and are never judged in their life. Right. And it says what? Here their spirits shall be set apart in this great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of those who curse forever and retribution for their spirits. Stop right there. That is speaking on people who curse their souls forever. Like, I curse you to hell. I curse you to the underworld. You know what I mean? That's your seed and your whole entire. That's what it's talking about right now. It's talking about people speaking actual curses on the people who were evil and wicked, who had nothing done to them. But this is only just another compartment. So unless you're telling me that these other two compartments are for these people, right on, then I don't know. But hold on, we're just going to keep reading. He shall bind them forever. And such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suits, who make disclosures concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous, but sinners, who were complete in transgression, and of the transgressors shall they be companions. But their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Stop right there. Purgatory. That's the part I was talking about, is purgatory. So did you hear that? All the motherfuckers who were wishy-washy, half-ass niggas? And it says right here, that just in case you thought I fucked it up. And such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosures concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of sinners. This is one part of it, okay? It doesn't speak to what they done, but it's carrying over to say that, okay, just in case you're complaining about how you died the whole time, right? Because apparently when you die, it's not over. Are you hearing this? The soul, the spirit, it's not over for your spirit. The body's dead, but the spirit, if they have one, lives on. But do you hear what's going to happen to them? It says, such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous, but sinners. So a sinner who questions how he got killed, or how he died, or how his destruction came about, right? Because they feel like it's unrighteous, who were complete in transgression. Like, so you were complete in your wickedness. And of the transgressors, they shall be made companions. So you transgress. So you're going to be with everybody else who transgressed, dog. Right on? And you think that you're going to, no, look. But their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. So there are going to be spirits that are slain in the day of judgment. Theirs are going to be spared, but they're not going to be raised up from where they're at. Woo! Come on. It's going down. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, and see, and right there it says the I, but I know it's then I. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, the Lord of righteousness, who ruleth forever. Now we're on chapter 23. From thence I went to another place, to the west of the ends of the earth. Listen, to the west of the ends of the earth. And I saw a burning fire which ran without resting, and paused not from its course of day or night, but regularly. And I asked, saying, which is this which rests not? Which rests not? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered me and said unto me, this course of fire which thou hast seen is the fire in the west which persecutes all the luminaries of heaven. Chapter 24. And from thence I went to another place of the fire. I went to another place of the earth, and he showed me a mountain range of fire which burnt bright day and night. And I went beyond it, and saw 7 magnificent mountains, all differing each from the other. And the stones thereof were magnificent and beautiful, magnificent as a whole, of glorious appearance and far exterior. 3 towards the east, one founded on the other, 3 towards the south, one upon the other, and deep rough ravines, no one of which joined with any no one joined with any other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of them, and it excelled them in height, resembling the seat of a throne, and fragrant trees encircled the throne. And amongst them was a tree which I had never yet smelt, neither was amongst them, neither was any amongst them, nor were others like it. It had a fragrance beyond all fragrance, and its leaves and blooms and wood wither not forever, and its fruit is beautiful, and its fruit resembles the dates of a palm. Then I said, how beautiful is this tree, and fragrant, and its leaves are fair, and its blooms very delightful in appearance. Then answered Michael, one of the holy and honored angels, who was with me, and was their leader, or some people call him Michael, but he's Michael to me, as I know him. But Michael would be, I don't see how that wouldn't be uh, proper, concerning that they call the other guy Raphael and Gabriel and Raguel and Uriel and all that, but I won't even go there. And he said unto me, Enoch, why dost thou ask me regarding the fragrance of the tree? And why dost thou wish to learn the truth? Then I answered him, saying, I wish to know about everything. Listen to what Enoch says. Then I answered him, saying, I wish to know about everything, but especially about this tree. And he answered, saying, this high mountain which thou hast seen, whose summit is like the throne of God, is his throne, where the holy great one, the Lord of glory, the eternal King, will sit when he shall come down to visit the earth with goodness. And, and as for this fragrant tree, no mortal is permitted to touch it till the great judgment, when he shall take vengeance on all and bring everything to its consummation forever. It shall then be given to the righteous and holy. Its fruit shall be for food to the elect. It shall be transplanted to the holy place, to the temple of the Lord, the eternal King. Then shall they rejoice with joy and be glad, and enter into the holy place. Shall they enter, and its fragrance shall be in their bones, and they shall live a long life on earth, such as thy fathers lived. And in their days shall no more sorrow or plague or torment or calamity touch them. Then I bless the God of glory, the eternal King, who hath prepared such things for the righteous, and hath created them and promised to give them. Chapter 26. One of my favorite chapters. This is arguably my whole favorite chapter. Want to know why? I want y'all, listen, I'm going to read the first part probably 10 times, at least 5 or 6 or 7. I'm about to keep reading it. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth. Hold on, let me repeat that. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth. What? One more time. And I went from thence to the middle of the earth. And I saw a blessed place in which there were trees, which branches abiding and blooming of a dismembered tree. And I saw there I saw a holy mountain. And underneath the mountain to the east there was a stream, and it flowed towards the south. And I saw towards the east another mountain, higher than this, and between them a deep and a narrow ravine. And it also ran a stream Excuse me. And it also ran a stream underneath the mountain. And to the west thereof was another mountain, lower than the former and of smaller elevation, and a ravine deep and dry between them. And another deep and dry ravine was at the extremities of the three mountains. And all the ravines were deep, were deep ran, narrow, being formed of hard rock and trees not planted thereupon them. And trees were not planted upon them. And I marveled at the rocks, and I marveled at the ravine. Yea, I marveled very much. I want to stop right there. This is before. This is before the great flood. This is before the great flood. This is before the great flood. So you do understand that if you don't think that people who were living in the middle of the planet, who did live there, are going to get touched. Anyway, let me just keep it pushing. Chapter 27. Then I said, for what object is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between? Then Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, answered and said, this accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together, who utter with their lips against the Lord unseemly words, and of his glory speak hard things. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment. In the last days shall there be upon them a spectacle of righteous judgment, in the presence of the righteous forever. Here shall the merciful bless the Lord God of glory, the eternal King. In the days of judgment over the former, they shall bless him for the mercy in accordance which he has assigned them. Then I blessed the Lord of glory, and set forth his glory, and lauded him gloriously. Stop right there. Y'all do realize that this is talking about Middle Earth right now, right? He hasn't left Middle Earth since chapter 26. Before that, we're not in Middle Earth. Right now, we're in Middle Earth. And he's talking about all this is going to go down in front of the righteous. I need y'all to understand, see, cats don't believe me. They don't got to believe me. I hope they believe Enoch. I hope they believe the Dead Sea Scrolls that were translated and transliterated by guess you know who, the white man. But before the white man translated and transliterated it, guess who did that for him? The Ethiopian. Thank you very much. And this is before any dirty ass fucking Italian retrograde mulatto things came down there putting their funny spunk into women. But I'm going to keep it pushing. Chapter 28. And thence I went towards the east, into the midst of the mountain, and to the midst of the mountain range of the desert. And I saw a wilderness, and it was solitary, full of trees and plants, and water gushed forth from above, like a copious watercourse. Towards the northwest, it caused clouds and dew to ascend on every side. And thence I went to another place in the desert, and approached to the east of this mountain range. And there I saw aromatic trees, exhaling the fragrance of frankincense and myrrh, and the trees also similar to the almond tree. And beyond these, I went afar to the east, and I saw another place, a valley of water, and therein was a tree, the color of fragrant trees, such as the mastic. And on the sides of those valleys, I saw fragrant cinnamon. And beyond these, I proceeded to the east. And I saw other mountains, and among them were groves of trees, and there flowed from the north them, and there flowed forth from them nectar, which is named Sarara, and Galbanum. And beyond these mountains, I saw another mountain to the east of the ends of the earth, where alloy trees and all the trees were full of stacked, being like almond trees. And when one burnt, it smelt sweeter than any fragrant odor. Chapter 32. And after these fragrant odors, I looked towards the north over the mountains. I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard and fragrant trees, and cinnamon and pepper. And thence I went over the summits of all these mountains, far towards the east of the earth, and passed above, one moment, excuse me, thank you, and passed above the Erythraean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zaltiel. Mm. Now, obviously, this angel Zaltiel is a stationary angel for him to be able to pass over him. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and I came to the garden of righteousness. And from afar off, trees more numerous than these trees, and great too. I and from I and from afar off, trees more numerous than these trees, and great two trees there, very beautiful, very great, beautiful and glorious and magnificent, and the tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit they ate, and know great wisdom. Stop right there. So it's saying that two of the trees in the midst of all these trees are greater than all the rest of them. That tree in height is in height like the fir, and its leaves like the carob tree, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very beautiful, and the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Stop right there. So he just broke down the tree of knowledge, and it is not a fucking apple that Eve ate. Okay, did you hear that? Let me read it to you again. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and from afar off, trees more numerous than these trees, and these great two trees there, very great, beautiful, and glorious, and magnificent, and the tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit they ate, and know great wisdom. That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves like the carob tree, Carob, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine. We know the clusters of the vine are grapes, goddamn me. Excuse my language. Very beautiful. And the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Then I said, how beautiful is this tree? And how attractive is its look? Stop right there. So, if Enoch himself has said that the tree was beautiful, why don't people believe that when Eve was seeing it, it wasn't like she was deceived into eating it? She just seen it and was like, man, this looks really good to eat. Right. We've all seen fruit and we're like, damn, that looks good. Right. It wasn't even on a tree anymore. It was in a grocery market and it looked good. So imagine how good it would have looked before it got picked. In the cluster of the vine. So that means that the fruit was not an apple, damn it. Just keep it pushing. Let's just keep it pushing. See, I try to break it down, but they don't even believe in the Bible, but yet they try to use the Bible as like a prop for them. And I'm trying to break it down to them like, dude, you couldn't be more wrong to say don't bite the apple. The apple is not what she had. I never thought it was an apple, but we're just gonna keep it pushing, But now that I have been able to share that with you, how do you feel about it, brothers and sisters? I said, how beautiful is this tree, and how attractive is its look? Then Raphael, the holy angel who was with me, answered me and said, this is the tree of wisdom, of which thy father, old, and thy aged mother, who were before thee, have eaten and learnt wisdom. And they learnt wisdom, and their eyes were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden. Stop right there. So at this point, Adam and Eve were still alive. Number one. Number two, it conditions us to perceive it again. Their eyes were open. This is spectral right now. Now let's go ahead and speak on that for just a moment, because I know some of y'all love to hear about the spectra. Look, when they were first seeing what they saw, they did not see life the way we see it now. I'm telling you, they saw infrared or ultraviolet, or they didn't see what we see. They couldn't see skin and flesh, dude. Damn. Damn, do y'all even understand what I'm trying to get? They didn't perceive it the way we perceive it, man. The only reason why Enoch can tell you pepper is pepper, or that this is that, however their vision was, it was like the Matrix vision. Let me just put it to you like that, right? And I could only imagine in Matrix vision and everything being in its true essence, but you not having the mind. See, because wisdom is comprehension. They didn't even need clothes. They weren't. I want y'all to understand that they didn't get clothes because they didn't put on clothes because they got cold, right on, and they felt some type of way about the weather. No, they put on clothes because they were embarrassed and they were naked. I need to understand and perceive what went down. I haven't been jumping to the Septuagint because tomorrow, the day after, one of those days I'm gonna be up for like 20 hours, and the day I'm up for a long time will be the day that I do this, because it'll be the first thing that I do. So, or one of the last things that I do. I lie. I'll come home and do this. But anyway, it's gonna go down, and the review is gonna go down because there's so much that I want to speak on. Before I read this next chapter, I have to read this part to y'all again. It's really short. It just speaks to what the fallen ones did. Chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind. Stop. And their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons and as gods. Here shall they stand till the great day of judgment, in which shall they be judged till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the end of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. So stop right there. So there will never be another. I don't give a damn how great the prophecies are supposed to be. The prophecies aren't fucking with what Enoch's seen. Can you dig it? Everything that they write about in the prophecies, Enoch's like, I already know that. I knew that, I know that, I knew that, I know that. Get in line, young pimpin'. Not only do I know that, I know that, I knew that, I know that, I lived to be 365, and then I got translated, dog, I never die. All you niggas died, okay? The only other cat who can say that he didn't die is Elijah, all right? And it doesn't speak to him being translated anywhere close to the level. Anyway, he comes back to do something else later on. So say certain people and certain prophecies. I can believe that. I can very well believe that. That's nothing to believe. But if you will overlook the fact that Enoch is speaking to things before they've happened, after they happen, during the time that they're happening, then it'll be beyond you that he didn't perceive that the vision he saw was beyond space and time. So when he saw everything that he was saying, he was speaking to things that he didn't even realize, dude, there are thousands of years displaced. Thousands. Thousands. Give me one moment. Will I read? 33. And from thence I went to the ends of the earth, and I saw there great beasts, and each different from the other, and birds also differing in appearance and beauty and voice, the one differing from the other. And to the east of those beasts I saw the ends of the earth, whereon the heaven rest, and the portals of the heaven open. Stop. And the gates of the heaven open. Stop. Come on. And I saw how the stars of heaven come forth, and I counted the portals out of which they proceed. And I wrote down all their outlets of each individual star by itself, according to their number, and their names, their courses, and their positions, and their times, and their months, as Uriel, the angel who was with me, showed me. He showed all things to me, and wrote them down for me. Also their names he wrote for me, and their laws, and their companies. And from thence I went towards the north to the ends of the earth, and I saw there a great and glorious device at the ends of the whole earth. And here I saw a great and glorious device. He didn't say device. Thank you very much. At the ends of the whole earth. And I saw there three portals of heaven open in the heaven. Through each of them proceed north winds. Through each of them proceed north winds. When when they blow, there is cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, rain. And out of one portal they blew for good. But when they blow through the other two portals, it is with violence and affliction on the earth, and they blow with violence. Chapter 35. And from thence I went towards the west ends of the earth, and I saw there three portals of the heaven, open such as I had seen in the east, the same number of portals, and the same number of outlets. And from thence I went to the south of the ends of the earth, and saw three portals of the heaven, and thence came dew, rain, and wind. Listen, from the north where it comes to the south. Come on, can you dig it? It's just explaining to y'all. Oh man. Anyway, let me stop. Let me just keep reading. And from thence I went to the east of the ends of the heavens, to the east, to the ends of the heaven, and saw there three eastern portals of the heaven open, and small portals above them. Through each of these small portals pass the stars of heaven, and run the course to the west on the path which is shown to them. And as often as I saw, I blessed always the Lord of glory, and I continued to bless the Lord of glory, who has wrought great and glorious wonders, to show the greatness of his work to the angels, and to the spirits, and to men, that they might praise his work and all his creation, that they might see the work of his might, and praise the great work of his hands, and bless him forever. Book 2, Parables. And I'm just going to start and then I'm going to end it. Chapter 37. The second vision, which he saw, the vision of wisdom, which Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Malaleel, the son of Canaan, the son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, saw. And this is the beginning of the words of wisdom, which I lifted up my voice to speak, and say to those which dwell on earth, hear me, hear ye, men of old time, and see, ye that come after, the words of the Holy One, which I speak before the Lord of spirits. The words of the Holy One, which I speak before the Lord of spirits. It was better to declare to the men of old time, but even from those that come after, we will not withhold the beginning of wisdom. Till the present day, such wisdom has never been given by the Lord of spirits, as I received according to my insight, according to the good pleasure of the Lord of spirits, by whom the lot of eternal life has been given to me. Now 3 parables were imparted to me, and I lifted up my voice and recounted them to those that dwell on the earth. The first parable, when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sins, and shall be driven from the face of the earth. When the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect works hang upon the Lord of spirits. Stop. The righteous one is the Holy One, is the elect one, is the anointed one, is the Messiah. And we're going to end on that note. Thank you very much. As far as reading, because that's the ending of the first parable, and we're going to come to that second parable in these next day or so, breaking it on down. You understand? Having a good old time, because that's what I like to do. Reading and reading and reading. So let's go back. cover everything else that we need to cover. And we're going to review this right now. We're going to review the end of the parable right now. We're going to review these last 12 chapters or so, 13, 14 chapters or so right now. And see, and so, and let's just speak to, yeah, I've seen that guy. I mean, I'll speak to that in a little bit, bro. I mean, right now we're talking about Enoch Big Pimpin'. You know, I'll just give me half a second and then we'll jump to something like that. You know, because dudes like him are the same wicked people who are gonna go down in the end. You know, so I'm not really worried about somebody who is being prepared for the slaughter. Uh, but greetings, though, brother. I'm glad you could make it. And Sister Bowser, just real quick, uh, a device. I know. Um, I've thought about what that device is for a long time. Maybe uh, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know. I mean, it's you know what I mean? Like mind-boggling. There's a lot going on in this book. A lot of people don't believe that this is what it actually is. Uh, but I love how the first part of it, you know, the very first one, the very first, which is talking about the Watchers, because and that's and really even that's a parable, you know, in itself. Uh, but we're gonna call this one ending the first parable because the 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 explanation of what is going to take place with the anointed one is is actually it's almost like a further explanation into what happens in the first part to a certain degree. Um, but let me just jump on something real quick, right? I can't stress this enough. Cannot stress this enough. When it says right here that here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. That part is so powerful. It gives credence to so many different things that no matter what the creature looks like, no matter what the abomination looks like, there's believability. You see what I'm saying? There's a credibility to it all. Uh, uh, there's a level of what's the word I'm looking for? When I talk about the satyrs and the centaurs, right? Or even better yet, when I talk about how white people have recessive genetics, right? Well, what if I explain to you like this? Well, the angels that came down and defiled themselves with women had children that were giants or part giant or whatever that may have went and had sex with animals. Wow, lo and behold, their genetics are compatible with the animals for some odd reason, or it makes a weird mutant thing, mutant baby, right? This is I know this sounds weird. Then these become something that's on the planet. You got to understand. It's talking about it says that there's spirits assuming many different forms. You'll have to become imaginative in what took place. So this is why you have so-called black people with straight hair today. Okay, all right, because they're of these bloodlines. I'm trying to break it down to y'all. See, they don't want to hear it. Okay, I already read to y'all about Middle Earth. Can't break it down to you anymore. If I read to you Middle Earth and then I read to you about the flood, I'm gonna do that in this next part. When I read about how everything on the surface died. Then I'm gonna read about, and he went to Middle Earth next, to the middle of the earth. I mean, what else did it? It said the middle of the earth. Okay, they were not in the center of the landmass. You know they're not talking about. They mean the middle of the planet. That shit is so epic, so deep. See, people live these base ass lives, right, where they only pay rent and mortgage and property taxes, and that's as real as it gets to them. You know, so when the impossible happens, or when the unthinkable happens, or when the just unimaginable takes place, they're always at a loss for words. And normally these are the people who get wiped out first. But this is where we're at right now, where we have an entirely misunderstanding with the people. Do y'all understand that there's a place that there's different places that they're going to be punished at? There's a spot that's at the end of the earth where there's no earth, there's no heaven, nothing. That's one spot that cats are going. You got cats who are about to be you have stars that are about to be destroyed by fire, right? Which gives credence to what the Book of Wisdom was talking about, people's souls being overcome with the heat thereof. See, understand that all these different little things do play together. I mean, it's so deep. But anyway, let's talk about the spirit and the soul concept. People really can't understand. Man did not become a living spirit, he became a living soul. You know what I mean? When people say, let my soul live alive, they understand that there is a governor over the body, the spirit that lives within. I can't stress this enough. The Egyptians, if you guys look this up later, please look into this. The Egyptians believed that people had two souls, right on, and they believed that certain people only had one soul and certain people were operating autonomously with none. Come on, this is what the Egyptians believed. I'm not making this up. But where do you think they got the idea from? Where do you think they got the concept from? The knowledge. See, ending the first parable is just ending the first book, ending the first part. We're out of the book of the Watchers now. Now we understand who the Watchers are. Let me read who the Watchers are one more time so that way we understand who we're dealing with, okay? Read their names one more time. I know people are like, you shouldn't read them. They're devils. I know they are. Semyaza, Samlazaz, Arakla, Ramlil, Kokbla, Kokabla, Tamna, Ramla, Danel, Azakil, Barakijal, Asael, Admaros, Batorel, Anaya, Zaklel, Semsapil, Satarel, Turel, Jumjael, Sariel. And give me one more. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cutting. Admaros, the resolving of enchantments. Barakijal taught astrology. Kokobel, the constellations. Azakil, the knowledge of clouds. Arakil, the signs of the earth. Samsiel, the signs of the sun. And Sadiel, the course of the moon. As men perish, they cry, and their cry went up to heaven. I've been saying that for a while now, sister. That most people have what would be considered two souls, but one is the spirit and the other is the soul. You see what I'm saying? But because the layman mind can't discern one from the other, one is the governor over, one is the governor within. The soul is greater than the spirit. Your spirit is the energy that was tainted within your body. Your soul is corrupted simply just by being there present. It's weird how it all works, isn't it? Huh? People are like, how do you know this for sure? I'm like, well, because of the way that the Most High speaks to the soul, speaks to the spirit. And he speaks greatly to the needing to cleanse one's soul, not so much to the spirit. But he speaks to people being corrupt in their spirit and also corrupt in their soul. But it just speaks to the level of understanding that the evil spirit that I said that was in the Middle Earth thing from their angelic fathers, the part Middle Earth thing that is in all people's bloodline is that same spirit. Ah, see how deep it goes? Right. It gets deep. This is why it's so mm, hard pill to swallow. One of these days, though, they'll truly appreciate this word. I mean, we might all be dead, but what I've done with the book of Enoch and with the Bible is really something totally different, and truly, 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 truly underappreciated. Truly underappreciated. Uh, so get ready to hear about the Messiah going forward for a while. The elect, the elect one, the holy one, right? So now we're gonna have a better understanding when reading scripture, right, as to who it actually speaking on. See, this is why it's so important to have background in all these different little things. Josephus comes way after the Dead Sea Scrolls. Jasher comes way after the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay? Enoch is pre-Dead Sea Scrolls. He's pre all that stuff. Man, I cannot appreciate y'all enough. This is the fun part. This is the fun part right here. Another small part of this review that I can't let go, and I would be really wrong if I let you go. Did you did you notice that your Eritrean Sea is going to be brought up again, but the Eritrean people are a people. The Ethiopians are a people. Okay, uh, maybe not at this time, right? But even if they now, excuse me, let's say that they were, right? That makes them not Adamites, right? That makes them their own kind of people. But if they didn't exist until after, then there's a small possibility that some of them, not all of them, seed from the Adamite bloodline. That's just something to think about. These are people who claim to be some of the first people. It's very well considerable that some of them could be. Right. Right. Come on. It's just, those are those types of things you got to be honest about. Uh, the Aboriginal people have the oldest blood in the world. The Negro man, his blood is almost as old as the Aboriginal man's, just a little bit younger. It speaks credence to things like other people coming before Adam. I'm just speaking to it. Uh, they think it's over. It's not over in the end, no. It only just begins. If y'all heard that there's pretty much six types of things that the northern winds produced: cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. Only one portal for good, and the other two have violent winds. What else? All these different portals. Question: what are the chances, the odds, the compound probabilities that the Tower of Confusion, that the Tower of Babel was meant to actually get them to one of the portals, to get them to heaven. Come, I want y'all to understand me. Understand me. Understand if the Tower of Babel was really a portal, right? A gate, a stargate, a portal gate. Come on, man. I've been trying to say this for a long time. And the Most High said, no, 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 no. It's been going down. Trust me. These are people who would have just been seeding from when civilization just crashed, but they knew about all the best technology before it crashed. So they would have known about things that happened, or they would have known ways to do things without needing all of what we need today. If these people knew about copper and gold and all those other metals conducting electricity a long time ago, they've been known about all that. They've been hip to that game for a long time. You know, uh, I wish my brother Power and Name had got here, man. You know, because that part about the chambers, I can't stress it enough. Spirits and souls are different, and I could I can totally see how an angel reasoning to himself that men later on wouldn't understand the difference, even if you tried to explain it to them. And maybe it's not meant for us to understand, or maybe it's meant to keep the evil ones off balance. There's so many different ways to look at it that, there's no need for me to get caught up in it. I just know that there's a reason that everybody doesn't perceive that, and I accept that. Uh, I take everything with a grain of salt that happens because it's a blessing to be alive, y'all. You know, the book of Enoch has helped solidify so many different things that I've been saying are real within the scripture. Uh, One of the first things that he helped solidify was my feeling towards men, regular men, not fighting the way that the giants shed most of the blood. You're not going to tell me that a man versus 1,000 foot tall behemoth stands a chance. It's unthinkable. Even with sorceries and witchcrafts and all that stuff thought about, it's unforeseeable. There would have to be, like, let me put it to you like this: Abraham, when he went to go rescue Lot, he was fighting against giant kings, but they weren't thousands of feet tall. They were like 20, 30, 40 feet tall. You see what I'm saying? And that's big as fuck. But he had a few hundred people with him, plus everybody else who was riding from the Amorite side, who he was in league with. So even when you look at it from that point of view, it took a whole bunch of them to overwhelm people and to do it by night, by ambush, so that way they actually stood a chance. You're talking about 1,000 foot, I don't know how much it would weigh, behemoth monster thing. Please, dude. The only thing that stands a chance against it is another one of those. That's it. That's it. That's it. So why do you think they started to eat people, shish kebabbing human beings and cooking their ass over roast, over open fires and stuff like that? That's the first original sin. That's the first original sin. That's what corrupted the giants. The giants they were already, their births are already questionable. You see what I'm saying? But to compare the giants to another group that's kind of like them is like a mixed person, right? It's like how, like, mixed people will cannibalize black people to get to their end game. You follow what I'm saying? But it's like you wouldn't even be like this. You wouldn't have the humanesque presence that you do to most of these people if it wasn't for black people, right? And their unnatural origins, which is their white father or white mother, right on, is somebody who they stand back and watch this monster operate. You know, They're too ashamed. They're too ashamed to. And once again, in the book of Enoch chronicles this, how the angels were. These bastards are so ashamed of themselves. As opposed, the right thing to do would have been to kill their children off, to kill off all their children, to kill off all the wickedness that they started on the planet. That would have been the right thing to do. That would have been the right thing to do. And then for them to banish themselves to those dark places that nobody wants to be. That would have been the right thing. They didn't do that shit though. They did exactly what white people do today, which is placate themselves and stand around and fucking whistle. And then we'll ask you, the black person, Mr. and Mrs. Altruistic, to go and speak on their behalf. Maybe if you say something, they'll believe that I'm sorry. Looking motherfuckers. Man, please. But this is what it happened to Enoch thousands of years ago, and yet we go through it to this day. And we don't think that this could have happened thousands of years ago? What? Once again, y'all, I can't stress to you enough. When we get to this next part, and I'm gonna read this to you one more time, just so that way you understand. Like I didn't make this up. The first parable, because this book too is called Parables. The first one's called The Watchers. But when I say ending the first parable, I mean, ending the first book. Yeah, they asked Enoch for help because they're sorry. But they asked him for help because he had been made into an angel. The only reason why they really asked him is because he had been made into an angel. And they realized that he may not have known his actual ability or potential. You understand what I'm saying? And the reasoning for the Most High making Enoch to fall asleep and all that stuff was to let Enoch know, like, bro, if these guys had been righteous, there would be no need to translate you. But you're translated because they're unrighteous. Now that's not said, that's not written, but I know man, come on, man, quit playing. If we were meant to live forever, what need would there be to translate you? Other than the fact that I've already told the progenitor of your bloodline that you're going to die. So that means that everybody coming from his loins is going to die. Right. Adam and Eve didn't have children before they ate the fruit, which would have made a big difference. Big difference. Come on. Come on. Who do you think white people get it from? Come on, their mamas and their daddies. Come on, man. This shit is crazy. The first parable, it says, right? And when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, and sinners shall be judged for their sins, and shall be driven from the face of the earth, when the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect works hang upon the Lord of spirits, and light shall appear to the righteous, and the elect who dwell on the earth. When there will be the dwelling of the sinners, and where the resting place of those who have denied. Where then will be the dwelling of the sinners, and where the resting place of those who have denied the Lord of spirits? It has been good for them if they had not been born. When the secrets of the righteous shall be revealed, and the sinners judged, and the godless driven from the presence of the righteous and elect, from that time those that possess the earth shall no longer be powerful and exalted, and shall not be able to behold the face of the holy. For the Lord of spirits has caused his light to appear on the face of the holy, righteous, and elect. Then shall the kings and mighty perish, and be given into the hands of the righteous and holy. And thenceforth none shall seek from themselves mercy from the Lord of spirits, for their life is at an end. I love it. I love it. Listen, I can't keep going on about this because I'll read the rest of that to you. I'll read the whole 30 chapters to you. 20 chapters or whatever it is. I love it. I love it. It's epic. Okay? It is epic. It's 2:32 Pacific Standard Time. Give you about another 5-10 minutes of just some regular talk action. Let me speak to what brother who used to be Israelite, man. Holy teachings, teachings. I love it. So, I mean, bro, what I just read to you should give you hope, dog. If that guy is somebody that has any kind of dominion on the earth, don't worry. If he leaves the earth unjudged, he goes down forever, right on until the great day of judgment. If he complains about his fate, he doesn't get killed in the great day of judgment, nor does he get risen up. He just stays where he's at forever. I can live with that. Number two, if he's one of these people who get what they got coming to him while he's on the earth, right on, then he gets touched. I just read to you how there's not going to be no mercy for him. Right. Come that day, big dog, there is no mercy for them. Don't worry about it. They're done. I don't worry about it at all. I know who's taking the dub. I know who's taking the L. I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like. You know, victory is like cooking a meal. When you first start preparing a meal, the meal often doesn't look very appetizing until you start to cook it and actually it comes to the fullness that you seek to achieve. Only then does the meal seem like it's going to be a good meal. So right now, bro, we're in a process where this meal is still being prepped. Uh, so everything that is going to taste so good and so righteous and so plentiful hasn't come to even beginning to cook. It hasn't started that stage yet. And when that stage starts, it's like that's when it's going to take people's most patience. It's going to take everything you have in you to wait, because that's when people normally get the most impatient, is when they know that the food is on the way. You know what I mean? So we just have to just wait it all out, bro. We can't get impatient. We can't get ahead of the meal that's coming. You know, um, I can't stress it enough to you. There's so much different scripture that is going to back up everything that we just read. I'm going to slowly put it together this next day and the day after. So give me like 2 or 3 days to grab all my scripture so I can go to all of it like I did that one day, and have it fresh on my mind so that way I know exactly where to go and go to those places and read those things and make those healthy comparisons. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. My brothers and sisters, I appreciate y'all for your time. I think it's been another very productive. I just think that because I am who I am, and I'm just not it's not always exciting. You know, everything I have to say isn't always super exciting, but we have to get through these parts that aren't as juicy. We're coming up on a lot of real exciting things within the book. Um, I'm waiting until we get to the book of the luminaries. Oh my goodness. We'll probably have to take a day per page, you know, so we can really break it down. And you'll be like, holy smokes. Yeah, because if the earth was round, it wouldn't even make sense. It wouldn't even make sense. The way it's explained is that there's no way the earth is round, y'all. Like, do you understand how fast the sun would have to be moving? Like, on crack. Like, no, man. Anyway, I'm glad that this is epic right here. I'm glad that this is fun, but this is one of those ones that I know is like, It's ending from one part, going into another. Sometimes people want you to carry on, but it's like, nah, you gotta wait, So I'm gonna wait it out. Mm, exactly, no way around it. That's right. That's right. No way around it. And that's right. And there's no way that it's round. But there's no way around this though. The Earth can't be a damn circle. I think most people in their right minds kind of scratch their heads every time they think about a circular Earth. Uh, but it is what it is. We've been told that for such a long time. You know, it's easier for people to believe some bullshit. But let me go ahead and say this, and then I'm gonna cut on out. The Book of Enoch is not for people who have read only one testimony and understand just that testimony. You have to have read both the Old and the New Testimony because there's only certain parts of the new. There's other things that the Messiah has said that pertain particularly to what the Book of Enoch is speaking to. You see what I'm saying? There's things that I can speak on in the book of in the New Testimony just about them sacrificing to goddesses like Diana, or thinking that Paul and Barnabas are Jupiter and Mercurius, right? I could speak to things like that. I could, just understand that there's so many different ways to speak to it, right? Uh, it's really a blessing. It really is a blessing, though. I'm glad that they think I'm nobody, and I'm glad I know that that's not the truth. With that said, may the Most High continue to bless all of our minds. May He give rise to our endeavors. He give hope to us. Pray for you, brother, as I continue to pray for you. I salute you. And may you have a blessed week and a blessed rest of your day. Much love.